Hi, guys. Well, hey, Dawn and Kim. Bonnie and Mary and Lori and Danielle. You know, Halloween's my favorite holiday. I'm going to give everybody a chance to get on here. So grab your favorite beverage, people. Okay, guys. I'm Marianne Goldweber. I'm a professional medium and clairvoyant, and I own a personal and spiritual development center called A Village. And tonight we're coming to you live from our Halloween headquarters here. We've had to reinvent the way I do what I do. And I just wanted to come on with you guys tonight because it's the start of the Halloween season. And I've got some really fun stuff coming up that I just wanted to let everybody know about. We'll be talking a little bit about what's going on in our world, spiritually speaking. And I'm going to take some phone-ins and questions and answers that you guys might have about some things. And so, yeah, that's kind of what we're doing. So this is my Halloween spooky setup. I'm going to be going live during the holiday season, this holiday being Halloween, my favorite holiday of the year. And so what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be doing seances, but we're going to be doing them virtually. So if you guys want to book a party for yourselves or your friends during the week, we can do that. And so you can live stream me onto your television set and have a room full of people, or we can bring them on through via Zoom, and we can have a virtual party that way. So yeah, that's what we're going to be doing. I'm going to be doing all these public events on video, and since we're still socially distancing. And so we're going to be doing our seances live, at the comfort of your own home. And so I'm looking forward to that. So this is my Halloween setup. And I know, isn't it fun? Look at my big spooky spider back there. My big spider. So yeah, we're having to be a little more creative this year. I've got some promotional stuff coming out. So if you go to my website, the dates aren't posted yet, but it's going to be every weekend in the month of October and early November through All Souls Day. So Halloween is technically All Hallows Eve, which is the night where the veil between the two worlds, here and the other side, is at its thinnest. So as we progress toward Halloween or All Souls Eve or All Hallows Eve, the veil between the two worlds becomes thinner, and they believe that the dead walk among us anyway, but it's easier to perceive them at this time of the year. And they're very, very busy helping our world, migrate forward and evolve. So there's a lot they got to say, and there's a lot going on, and I'm looking forward to a really amazing holiday season. So with that, I just want to talk a little bit about tonight about what's going on in our world when it comes to the spiritual stuff. We currently have 6 planets retrograde. The 7th, which is Mercury, is going to go retrograde in the next day or two. And all of these astrology that's going on right now is about bringing things into the light or into the truth. And so nothing and no one can stay hidden during this time. And the truth will be is exposed. So this is a wonderful time of evolution for our planet and for mankind in general. And I just want to stay connected with you guys during all of this so that you know that there are bigger things at work behind the scenes that require faith. So we as humans have our obligation to do the highest and best thing. And whether or not, and we're going to create a ripple of accountability and humanity and all these other wonderful things. So that's going on. There's a lot going on right now, and a lot of people are facing a lot of upheaval in their lives. And again, I'd like to hear from you guys about what positive thing has come out of this for you specifically. And I'll be doing some random channeling tonight, so I'll be able to talk to some people's relatives and ancestors and whoever else decides they want to make an appearance tonight. Like my spooky music. This is the first year I haven't had a space to decorate, so I decorated my little corner of the world here, and I'm looking forward to doing these live events with you guys, doing our Halloween seances. So I'm going to be doing some promotional things, putting those dates out and putting out exactly what it is we're going to do. And so if you go to my website now, it's not updated, and I'm working on that as we speak. And so I'll be putting out dates for our public seances that are really just basically channeling like I do every other day of the year. But at Halloween, it's so much more special because it's a lot easier for all of us to perceive sometimes paranormal activity or the other side working in our benefit. So don't chalk it all off to, it's always your relatives loving and protecting you. It's never anything stray or weird or evil. I reel a lot of people in about those things. So being a medium is like being an operator. So what I do is I take and translate telepathic communication into language for you. And that comes to me in a form of visions and an inner knowing. And so as I channel that information, it gives you hope, and it helps you know that our loved ones are not somewhere else. They're actually working alongside us every day. It's just that they're not allowed to interfere in our choices that we make. And hopefully we'll start making better choices, so learning to trust that divine inner knowing, that little voice that says, don't do that, that is your guides and your loved ones on the stage crew on the other side that are trying to get us to the right place at the right time and do the right thing. And again, being human, we have an ego and we think that we know what we're doing all the time. And when it stops working, that's when we start to seek out help. So just so you guys know that my COVID special for sessions was $60 an hour. It's going to be going up to $80 and back up to $80. That's originally it was $100 in person. But $80 per session for an hour, which an hour is very comprehensive with me. So whether we're working through a traumatic event in your life, or whether we're working through an actual death that you've experienced, this spiritual perspective brings you such a sense of peace and such a understanding that, we're not separate from our loved ones. And if we don't have faith, it makes this life that much harder to navigate. So I just wanted to kind of pop in tonight and show you my cool new digs I got going on here, and let you know that you can have your own private party with me, and you can just connect your laptop to your TV with an HDMI cable, and you'll have me big as life on your television set, and then point the laptop or phone at the crowd in the room, and I can actually channel. See, the cool thing about this work is it defies space and time, so I don't need to actually be with you to do this. And the funny part is when the paranormal things happen while I'm working, they'll be happening at your house and my house simultaneously. And, that's the fun stuff that we just can't deny. So there's always some cool and fun thing that always happens during these events. I've had the lights go on and off. I've had the doorbell ring. I've had all kinds of, we catch all these orbs and pictures and things in your film. So if you do decide to attend my seances this year, make sure you have your camera ready so that you can take, random pictures around your house while I'm working, because you will be able to probably catch some orbs or ectoplasm, which is a smoky haze, while I'm working. So this is a lot of fun, and I really enjoy doing this work. This is the fun. Well, all of what I do is wonderful, but the fun part of what I do is, the seances and the parties and, and those kinds of events. It helps people just get to know me and get to know this work, and kind of, put the kibosh on some of the misconceptions of what they think this work actually is. So translated into the real world, the work I do helps people through trauma and death and grief. It helps them through traumatic events in their life. Having that spiritual anchor and understanding and knowing that you have a stage crew of things helping you is really the work for me. And so when you have an event or a party or readings, that also pays for me to be able to do that work out in the world for no charge. So a lot of those things that I do, you can't charge for that. So anyway, so I want to open it up. I want to see who's here. Oh my goodness, we got lots of folks on here tonight. So I had put out hold on, I got to put my cheaters on. Sorry, guys. Hold on one sec. No, I didn't get my hair cut, Maria. In fact, I've got to cut it. It's it's actually a little long, which is not usual for me. But thank you, though, and my decorations. I have to tell you, I love this lamp. I got it at Goodwill in Amherst for like $10 with the shade. Okay, the freaky light bulb is mine, however. Of course it is. Hey, guys. Hey, Shannon. So I have to tell you, when you see everybody on here, I have known quite a few of these people for a very, very long time, and so I'm just really glad to see you guys on here. And I know it's hard to stay connected right now, but it's always a good thing to just give me a call if you have something going on. And it's always best to call me rather than try to text me, because it's hard for me to book appointments over text. We have to compare calendars, and all of those things. So I'm going to give you guys an opportunity. For the rest of this week, I am going to be offering sessions for $60. I would highly recommend that you order a gift certificate if you want to buy more than one for yourself, so that you can use it. Those gift certificates are good for 3 months. Or if you know someone who's going through something who really could use a little spiritual insight. So that might not be a bad idea. So you might want to stock up on those now. There will not be another special before the holidays. So those will take you through November, December, and January. So it'll take you through the Christmas season. So like I said, after this week, so starting next Monday, sessions are going to go back up to $80 a session. And so if you get a chance to stockpile those gift certificates, that'll be going on through this week and through Monday. I have some really fun promotional things coming out too. I know you guys probably saw it advertised, but I was looking for warm bodies to play cold bodies during a video shoot that I'm going to be doing this Wednesday. And I have the limit of folks that I can have. And so stay tuned for some really spooky, fun things that I'm going to be putting out there. So, so let's see who's here. I got Nikki White, and I got all kinds of people. Let me put my glasses back on so I can see what the hell I'm doing here. Yeah, so there's just a lot of interesting things. I know that everybody's been going through a lot of reevaluating of their life and why we're doing the things that we're doing. And I think it's just really important to stay connected during this time. And we are all going through it. I love how it's really helped us reevaluate how we do so many things, like how we parent our children, how we're connected in our relationships, who and what are people that we align with, okay? In addition to our society's changing, the way we work. Companies that I know for a fact would never have let you work from home are letting you work from home now. Like, how cool is that? When I was in corporate, there was like absolutely no way that was gonna happen. Well, hi Tammy. I'm gonna go ahead and read some of these comments and see who we have on here. My phone won't let me listen. The Beatles Come Together keeps coming on. That's hilarious, Nikki. Oh my God, you guys are so funny. Signs from infant loss. Bonnie, I don't know what that means. Thank you, Kelly Roca. I know I love my decorations. This is a fraction of what I have. I'm used to, outfitting like a 7,000 square foot house. So this is like most of my stuff's in storage. You'll be a warm body for a cold body. I will be an understudy. Well, you're welcome to join us. Just call me tomorrow, Deborah, and I'll give you the info on that. That's funny. Yeah, working from home is definitely challenging because, I had a boss one time give me a review and he told me I wasn't a self-starter. And I laughed so hard. I was really actually pissed because he said that. And what I realized was when I started my own business that I was not a self-starter, and it took me a long time to get into a routine and habits to get work done. It was just really funny. Well, if anybody wants to give me a call, I am going to put my phone number on here. And if anybody wants to give me a call, don't call while I'm on a call, though. The number is 216-324-2657. And I'll take a couple phone-ins, and then I'll just do random ones over the notations. What's the problem here? All right. Well, that's the challenge, Janet, is you really have to be disciplined and you have to have a dedicated space for work, so that when you go into it, this is what I'm doing, I'm working. But yeah, there is a lot of gray areas when it comes to that. I'm sorry your uncle passed, Britt. Well, Britt, I don't know if you've had a session with me, but it's really advantageous because, none of us have been taught how to grieve. And depending on what culture you come from, we don't even talk about death in the way that we prepare each other for that. And the challenge is, especially when you lose your partner, is a different grief than if you lose your child or if you lose a friend or those relationships are all different. And so a lot of grief, which is a process of your brain defragging information and creating a new normal after the loss of this person or the loss of a situation, that your brain actually undergoes a process that's a lot like defragging a computer it actually short circuits, and it's trying to make sense out of this new information, or loss. And it's incredibly challenging. I highly recommend that, you might want to have them give me a call, because a lot of times people seek out people like me, to talk to their loved one. And the challenge is we're going through a death on this side of the road. They're actually going through a transition on the other side of the road. So it's not like you just pop out of your body and you're sitting on a cloud playing a harp, and you just, oh, that was fun. There's a process. That's why they have things on the other side helping them, just like I help people over on this side of the road. And so you're not always going to hear from them right away. And that's kind of what people want. So the whole process of grief is letting go of the human being so that we can learn to see them or understand that their presence, in their new form, minus this body that I lovingly refer to as a meat suit. Okay. So this body is only going to last so long. And eventually it's going to wear out, or something's going to happen to it that makes it sick, or, regardless, or you have an accident, that we have to abandon the body. But who we are does not die. Only thing that dies is this body. And so what I help people through is that process of letting go of that human person. And there's a lot of things that are involved with that. It's not just the death of the person, it's the death of our expectation. It's that, it's a process that is so individualized based on the circumstances, how someone passes away, what relationship you had to them, was it good or bad? I mean, all of those things are a factor in how we work through that year-long process, which is the normal process of grief. So it's not something you get over, it's something you get through. And once you have those spiritual tools, it really does help you come up to a higher understanding, and navigate that emotional process and healing much differently. So I'm sorry, very sorry for your loss, but if I can be of service, don't hesitate to reach out, or buy your aunt a gift certificate, and when she's ready, maybe it's something that that she'll be open to doing. All right, I'm going to go back to the beginning here and look at the comments and see if anybody has anything they want to say. Well, Brooke Farkas, just give me a call and book a session. It's always best to call me, guys, because I get so many crazy text messages. The things get buried, and we have to look at the calendar, so I need you to call me if you want to book a session. Don't send me an email. Well, hey, Paulette. I did a few parties for friends. I know. I miss doing parties, Kelly. We got to do... That's why I'm doing these virtual parties. They are so much fun. I did one the other day, and the group was all in their living room, and they were only like 10 of them, or they were socially distanced. They were all friends, and nobody ever really went anywhere. And then they had me on the television, and we had a ball. It was so much fun. It was like being there for me. It was really wonderful. But I don't really have to be in the room with you to do this work, which is really the fun part. Hey, Micah. I've been thinking a lot about you. So it's always best to just call me if you want to book a session. Well, Bonnie, that's kind of a loaded question. So what Bonnie's asking is, do infants give us signs? And you mean if they passed away? I'm assuming. You may want to give me a call. So first of all, our soul is ageless. Our soul has had millions of lifetimes. Okay, we keep coming in and out of these lifetimes, and we get a new body or meat suit in order for us to navigate whatever it is that we're here to learn. Okay, so I'm really like Kevin Bacon, and on the other side, I'm like, okay, I got to be Marianne Goldweber, and I'm going to need you guys to be my parents, and you guys to be siblings, and then I'm going to meet some of you guys way later on down the road. And then when we get born, we forget the mission. Okay, and now we're seated into this human life. The challenge with with that is so children aren't really children. They're actually ancient beings who are starting a new experience. And and it really depends on the circumstances, but every life comes in and out, like I said, without knowing when our end is. And sometimes as this body is being created, okay, it's flawed, and it's not going to ever really be able to sustain life. And so those souls are really not normally you're not really in the body until you are born. And again, even those quick entrances and exits, and I'm sorry if you've had this loss, it is traumatic. But that soul is really an ancient being who came very purposely for a short time to affect a lot of people at once. So maybe that's something that you might want to really give me a call about. Now, again, I've experienced a miscarriage. I've also had a live birth of my son Jared, and it was very interesting. You know, it's like when we're at an end of life when we're older, you know, or an adult. You know, it's not that the body dies and then releases your soul. What actually happens is your soul leaves the body first, and then your body expires. And that's why 90% of the time you're actually not in the room when someone passes away, because the body's just doing end of life stuff. You're already outside it with other ancestors waiting for that to happen. So normally they wait for you to leave the room to go for coffee. I mean, I do hospice. They wait for you to go to the bathroom, and then, you know, you've been sitting there, you know, vigil. And again, you know, the soul is not experiencing that trauma of death. You're already outside it, just watching it. So the same thing happens with birth. You're not in the body until you're fully seated in that body, when it's a viable, you know, when you take that first breath, basically. But those souls who don't, change necessarily are going to be here the whole time, are coming here to create a very powerful experience very quickly. So, you know, as someone who's had a miscarriage, for me, that was a death at the time. And it was very fascinating because at the time I was not, and my son's father was not. We weren't ready to be parents. We were not in a position to do that. And so in my 3rd month, I had a miscarriage. And I had a lot of guilt over that. And so fast forward, you know, 2 years later, a lot of things changed for us. And then 7 years later, I got pregnant again. And we were very different people by then. And we're married for, you know, together for 9 years at that point. So when Jared was 4, he was in the back seat of the car. Now, mind you, I was well into my spiritual work and development at that point. And so Jared's 4, and you know how they are in the back seat. He's like, Mommy. And I'm like, yes. He goes, do you remember when I was here before and I couldn't stay? It wasn't the right time. Do you remember that? Honestly, Bonnie, I almost wrecked the car. It was so powerful because I realized that it wasn't a death. The same soul was coming into a new experience, but it wasn't supposed to be then. It was supposed to be now. And the timing issue with it was just fascinating. And so it really allowed me to let go of that grief and guilt that came with that experience that I'd had prior, because there's nothing to grieve because he's here, you know, so that body just was not going to work, and it wasn't the right time. And when we can start seeing those things from that spiritual understanding, I hope that brings you some closure or comfort. But if there's anything else I can do or something we can talk about, that's such a huge topic. I hope that I could touch on it a little bit for you. But if you want to give me a call, my number is listed there. Or if you go to my website, MarianneGoldweber.com, my phone number is on there as well. So don't hesitate to reach out and give me a call. I know, isn't this lighting fun? Oh my God. Hey, Peggy, I miss you, girl. Do you like my spooky music? I don't know what's up with my phone number there. Anyway, who else we got here? Britt. Yes, Britt, sorry about your uncle. I hope I can help with that. I know, Deanna. I'm looking forward to Wednesday. Hopefully you're coming. Hi, Jante. Aw. I'm sorry, Kelly. Miss them every day. Your mom spends so this is for Kelly Kearney. Kelly, your mom's here and she wants you to know she spends a lot of time with you in the kitchen, but she's bored because you're not really cooking like she thinks you should. So I'm not quite sure what that means. Um, she's waving at you. You know, they're not somewhere else, honey. I know we can't see them, but I just want you to know that. So when people who've passed away pop in your head, that isn't really you wishfully thinking of them. That's actually a projected telepathic communication. So that when she pops in your head, that actually is her coming to say hi to you. Now, that doesn't happen all the time. So just know that that's their way when they see these little windows of opportunity to be able to reach out to you. Shannon, you're like the poster child for spiritual awakening, let me tell you. You are amazing. Shannon's had a lot of really unbelievable things that really required so much faith, and she stuck to it and let go and let God and turned it over to that higher power, and it's amazing what happens when you can do that. Yeah, grief is never really gone. It just, it's kind of like cleaning out a closet and then there's still dust bunnies in there once in a while. Oh, Jante, hold on. She has visited me in my dreams. That's a really great awareness, Jante. So here's what happens. So as we're sleeping, our body is actually resting and repairing itself. And while a body is busy doing that, we actually do leave the body and go backstage. And this is what we call dreams. Okay, when we're waking, I call them visions. But regardless, it's when we're not really completely in the body and we're kind of in that twilight, and we're on the other side. So because you don't have your body or your words, they have to show you everything symbolically. I actually teach a class in dream interpretation, and it's really wonderful. So why don't you guys make sure you write those dreams down? But the point I was going to try to make here, Jante, is our grief, this is why our grief is important. Because when we get to a place in our grief where we've really kind of come to acceptance of them being gone, okay, and they've worked through the process on the other side where they get to see the whole thing, what the whole backstory was to this life and all the lessons and all of that, dream time is the way you know that they're ready and you're ready. Okay, so when this is why sleep and all of those things is so important, because that's where we go backstage and get insight into how to live this crazy ass life that we're in. And so when you dream about people who've passed away, that actually is them. Okay, now the symbolism surrounding them is a lot to do with your stuff. So if I can clear any of that up, don't hesitate to give me a call. Danielle Mariner. I found comfort in all of my inner. Aw, thank you so much, honey. Let me tell you, I have learned so much from you guys and dead people. I'm telling you, I know more. I learn more from dead folks than I did from the living. I learn something new every time I spend time with. Aw, I miss you guys, Janet. Tell Ryan I said hi. You guys are so funny. Thank you so much, Nikki. Aw, I know Dawn. I'm telling you, she's so relieved. She's so relieved to be out of... guys, you have to remember that sometimes there's things that happen to this body that are irreparable. Like some mental health issues, or when we damage our brain through drug use or addiction, okay? Sometimes people just have really bad wiring when it comes to this physical aspects of this body, and they're never going to have that normal life that, normal, we'll just use that relatively. But some of those things just can't be repaired, and they're suffering, okay? Their life is a suffering. And so when we come to end of life with people who struggled with living, okay, on any level, it's very tragic and sad. However, for them, sometimes getting out of that body and that damaged brain and all the damaged stuff is like letting go of 200-pound meat suit. It's like getting out of and being so free. And I just want you to know that, she's not that person. She was a soul that was trapped in that body, okay? And again, so death liberated her. And I just want you to know that she's clear and she's bright and she's joyful. And she's, they hate to watch us suffering down here in grief or regret or, bad decisions. I mean, they don't want that for you. And nor do they hold you accountable to those things. There's nothing on the other side but love. And even if, even if our guilt is part of our process of grief, but they don't want you feeling guilty about anything, Dawn. So she just wants you to know how relieved she is. And so for her, death was redemption. Hi, Gina. Hi, Gina's daughter. Okay, so Gina, there's a woman like grandmother here for your daughter. She just wants to say something to her. Hold on. So not only does the other side hear what we say, they also hear what we think. Okay? So for me as a medium, I read telepathic communication. So whether that comes from living people or dead people, this is what my son calls me, a mind reader. It's not that I'm reading his mind. He's projecting a thought and I actually hear it. Okay? So I'll answer him even if he didn't ask me a question. So your grandma wants you to know, honey, that she hears your thoughts. Okay? And you are being helped. And I'm telling you, honey, this time of your life is so short. Don't take any of it personally, okay? I don't know how old you are, but let me tell you something. Half the people in our teens and early 20s, you're never going to see those people again. Okay, I can tell you that as a 59-year-old woman who knows literally thousands of people, okay? That those folks in grade school and high school and all of that, chances are you're really not going to see them anymore. And when you do, you're going to be like, thank God I didn't hang out with those folks, okay? I'm just saying. So I know that whatever you're experiencing right now is a little rough, but we're all being asked to evolve, okay? And it's all temporary. So just be patient, and she loves you very much, and she's blowing you a kiss. So stop being such a Debbie Downer. Any correlation with a family member passing on your birthday? No, Nikki, no. No, it's just, what's really interesting though, is there are better. So when we talk about for instance, I practice more of an indigenous religion, okay? And so cycles are very prominent in these earth-based religions. And so we find that more people pass away in that winter months, and more people are born in the spring and summer months, and then more people are born during the full moon, whereas more people die on the new moon. Okay, so those things have more of a relevance than your actual birthday. I don't know if that answered it. Are there new souls, Debbie? Deborah P-Tech. No, but there are people that are slow learners. Okay, and they look like they're new, but they are not new. Everybody's had really millions of lifetimes. It's just, when we say new souls and old souls, I think that there's some that maybe aren't as experienced as others, but there's definitely no new souls. Our souls are always ancient beings. And I don't want to get into this because this will melt your brain. But there's lots of other dimensions. So you got a human gig this time, but who knows what's on the other side. We'll never really figure it out. Yes, now when we say old soul, a lot of times we'll have when we don't mean new soul and old soul. We mean everybody and then older souls. Okay, so a lot of times you'll find an older soul, which is just a soul that's higher on the evolutionary plane, comes into a situation with a bigger toolbox than most people because they're going to need that wisdom in order to survive their early life. So this is why when we meet sometimes very old soul precocious kids, a lot of times they have to parent themselves, or they're going to be in situations where they need to be a little more adult because the adults in their world might not be, okay, have the tools. And so when we use those terms, they're kind of misleading that way. They're not literal like you think. My dad has passed. I cherished every dream. I know, isn't the dream time amazing? Honestly, Janet, you should talk to Stephanie, or not Stephanie, Shannon. Oh my God, she had the most amazing dream recently. Yeah, I love when we do dream class because we talk about all these just amazing dreams. And when you can get to a point where you really want to sleep and go to dream time, I literally go to sleep knowing I'm going to dream because I need answers. Okay. And I want to see what the universe has to say. I have points of entry where I hang out with ancestral things. I mean, I lucid dream. So, it's something that we can actually develop. And because it's kind of like going backstage and going, hey, what do I need to know right away? And that gives you an opportunity. Nikki, this is interesting. My daughter Maya was a twin. I lost one while pregnant. And when she was younger, my husband and I swear she times would tell us, yes. So yeah, kids remember that stuff. It's really amazing, even in utero. But again, they're not really in the body. But so there were maybe two souls at one point. But when one body was not going to be viable, the one said, okay, I'm going to go down there and the other one's going to stay behind. Okay. So that's what I really think kind of happened. And so one is probably a guide to her at this point. But yeah, that's kind of, or there was never going to be twins. It was only going to be one soul. That's really kind of what they're letting me know. So that there was no other soul for that body. It was never going to go to fruition. So even though there was a twin body, there never was really two people, if that makes sense. I know Jared used to tell me the craziest stuff when he was little. Yes, the soul does leave before the body. Isn't that interesting, Karen? This is Karen Mayer. She's talking about, I channeled, so sometimes when I'm channeling, I can channel people who are still alive because they're in an altered state of consciousness, like whether they have dementia or Alzheimer's, or sometimes they're even in a coma. So as the body is laying there in that state, they're not in there experiencing it. They're actually on a walkabout. They actually, don't even realize they're out of the body necessarily. And so they think they're having just some kind of a dream or interaction. But I've channeled living people for their relatives in channeling sessions. And it's always really interesting. Sometimes if those people regain consciousness, they actually, talk about being at somebody's house or, it's just interesting. It's amazing stuff. I never want to not be amazed by it. Sure, Deanna, just give me a call. We're really excited, actually. Okay, if any of you guys want to give me a call and come on the phone with me, it's 216-324-2657. I always love taking call-ins. Hold on. Okay, this is for Tammy Davis. So I'm not sure who passed first, Tammy, but I feel like that your dad is still helping your sister through the process. So, and this is why when we're down here and we're human, we want to hear from them all the time. And that's not allowed to happen. Okay, the whole point of death is to separate us from each other. Okay, and we have to know, like we know our name, that they are home and we're the ones that are actually away. Okay, that they are always present, always helping, always in a process. But the problem is we don't like the way they help. We want it in our way, the way we want it. And sometimes the obstacles is the help. Sometimes not getting your way is the help. And as human beings, we want what we want when we want it. And the other side is giving us what we need, not what we want. Okay. And so there's also patience and timing and lots of other things. But your dad's indicating that he's been helping your sister. So again, we're down here going, what about me? Sometimes we want to know where they at. How come they're not, showing themselves or doing parent? They don't do that. That is not allowed to happen. It's only allowed to happen once in a while as long as it's not going to interfere in our living. The whole point of death is so that we have to surrender, eventually come to a place of surrender and acceptance that they're not here. And we have to be patient and grateful when we do get a visitation, whether it's in dream time or some little sign that they send you. But he just wants you to know that he's so proud of you. And you're not the keeper of everybody's stuff, okay? Sometimes you got to let families fall apart, honey. Okay, so just because people are gone doesn't mean you're the one who's supposed to hold the whole thing together, okay? He's letting you know that you're throwing yourself in the middle of things that maybe aren't yours to navigate. So don't do it because you think they want you to. You do what's best for you, honey, okay? See, this is very one-sided. I like it when I can interact with you guys. Well, it's either your birthday or his birthday, Melissa, Emmy, that he's coming around because I feel like you need a little reassurance right now. You know, it's very funny, Nikki, when people have passed away pop in our head. Sometimes it's not the people we expect, okay? And, you know, you have to remember that everybody on the other side knows you, even if you don't know them. Okay, we all started out this journey together. And then little by little, we start being born into this production called life. So some of our ancestors left the play before we got here. So we actually knew them on the other side. So we do know them. You just don't remember. That's all. And so, yeah, when they pop in your head, that's actually them coming to let you know that they know you and they're helping you. That should be a great sign of comfort. Aw, that's good, Gina. But you know what? Initially, sometimes that happens where we'll dream of them, but there's some answers in that dream. So they're not just coming to go, hey, what's up, shooting the shit. They're actually coming because they're trying to help you navigate through life or something situation. And she might be trying to offer you some insight, Gina. So we want to really pay attention to those dreams and write them down. You may want to give me a call so that I can help you decipher those. I really feel like she's trying to give you more of a message rather than just checking in. Hold on. And I don't know what the situation is with this, but I feel like you're taking on more than is your share. Okay, so I don't know if you're trying to navigate estate stuff or people and things or whatever. She's trying to give you some insight in that. So, and that will not happen forever. Okay, so again, they're not allowed to keep doing that. I think she's trying to really get you a message about your involvement in something, and maybe there's some way for you to stop doing that. Because, you know, it's really funny. It also has a lot to do with deathbed promises or things that you think she wants you to do. That is off the table once you leave this body. You know, a lot of people at end of life have you making all these promises to them, their human self. Okay, once they're out of that body, they don't really care about any of that. Okay, so those promises are not necessarily something you have to keep. Like my sister-in-law had me promise all kinds of crazy things, okay? And I knew that when she was out of that body, that half that stuff was not going to matter. Some of it we did and some of it we didn't. And so 3 months later when I channeled her, she's like, oh my God, I can't believe I made you guys promise all that dumb stuff. And it's like, well, that's okay. It brought you comfort. But like I said, I feel like you're trying to keep up some kind of a promise or not to disappoint. Gina, you couldn't have disappointed your mother on your worst day, honey. Okay? So it's not your job to try and keep this thing, you know, throwing yourself under the bus. I don't know what this means. I don't know if you understand that. You need some pumpkins in that background. Yes. You know, it's interesting, Peggy. You know, this work, I mean, even though it's all about death, it's really not. It's about the living and bringing people peace and understanding and comfort. So I'm very, you know, again, I'm very comfortable with death and not just in a spiritual sense, but in a physical sense, you know, is that this life is very fragile. And, you know, we all have an opportunity to do the right thing here. And we really need to get with the program and start taking some risk. If you knew that your last day was a week from now, what would you do to try and leave this world better than you found it? Okay, that's the stuff we got to think about. Is that, I never know how long I've got, okay, and every day's a blessing. And, we don't want to waste time, because the last thing people on the other side say to me is that, oh, I wish I made more money, or I wish I'd bought more useless crap. Okay, what they actually say is, I can't believe I bought all that useless crap, and that they spent more time being angry or resentful or hateful, or, and now they can't do a damn thing about it. Okay, it's too late. Your meat suit's gone. You blew it. Okay, you're going to have to go get a new meat suit and come back and go start all over again. Okay, so this is not a place for regret, people. This is a marathon, not a race, and we need to, like I said, we're here to learn, we're here to teach, we're here to leave this world better than we found it. So, we can all do our part, but fear is one of the most limiting things you could ever experience. And at this point, I'm not afraid of death. Okay, that doesn't mean I'm going to run in traffic. Okay, but, what's there to really lose? If we're going to lose it all, what's the risk, right? We're all going to die eventually anyway. So, what do we got to lose? And so, yeah, don't live waiting, stuck in waiting. I have seen people hoarding things and waiting for the perfect opportunity, and they die in the middle of it. And so, carpe diem, live now while you have the opportunity. And if we've got resentments or things we got to get rid of, let's let go of it. And I'll help you do that. I know, I love you guys. You miss your aunt, Suzanne? Aw. Well, she was a character. Suzanne Deka. I have a headache with her. Did she have a stroke or dementia or something? This is why I like when you guys call me instead. Yeah, that was a great question. Oh, we got a call. Hi, this is Marianne. You're live.
Hi, this is Denise.
Hey, Denise, do me a favor and put me on mute on the
Okay.
computer.
Okay.
Nothing's worse than hearing myself talk.
I just comment on there. I've been struggling with my spiritual journey as to my next steps. And my mom is always around me, but I'm just struggling with my joy. And that's the thing that I'm getting from her, that I'm not getting my joy.
Okay, well, sometimes we have to process and we have to go down into so what's the opposite of joy, which is misery or suffering, right?
Right, and I think that's where I'm at now.
Right. Well, there's a grief process with a lot of the experiences we've had in the past. The problem is most times, most people in general, not even just women, don't know how to process emotion in a healthy way. Well, the emotion is the human aspect. And when we let go of the emotion, then it makes room for that higher divine knowing to come in. So we have to have funerals for stuff in our life. So let's say you got divorced, okay? I mean, rather than just, sitting in this jail cell with the key in your hand, wishing an MF or drop off a bridge somewhere, we got to process that and look for, what did I learn from that? And we got to work through the process of that. And that's what I help people with. Okay, so I write FU letters. I always joke that these letters should start with FU and end with thank you.
I like that.
No, for real. I'm not kidding. I've written more FU letters in this life. But see, here's what happens. When you get through the FU and you vomit out all this emotion and you get done, then the higher voice comes in and goes, well, what did you learn from that? Or why did you make that decision? And see, that's the higher voice. That's actually our guides and our helpers. But you can't hear that because you're still caught in the human struggle with the emotion.
Yeah. Because my ex-husband, he died a year ago, and it's like the anniversary of his death. So I'm just.
Oh, I'm so sorry. So was he your ex-husband when he died?
Yes.
Okay. So most of us aren't even done with our divorce, let alone our ex dying. Okay. I mean, divorce is a lot like death, but it's not like, And again, we haven't been taught that divorce is death. Change is death. It's the death of not only this agreement we made together. It's also a death of my expectation of what I thought it was going to be.
Right, and it wasn't.
And what I overlooked. Okay, girl, because I was not a good picker back in the day, okay? So, oh, I wasn't a catch either, okay? I mean, I own my side of the road now. But that's what we have to look at is, so again, and that's why when we work through that emotion and you write those letters, I want you to write it until you can get down to thank you. So these letters start with FU and they end with thank you. And I burn them as I go. I burn it, I write it, I burn it. And let me tell you something. Once you get on the other side, okay, you cannot run away from who you were. Like, God doesn't judge you. You hold yourself accountable to who you were in this lifetime.
Okay.
Okay? So there is nothing you can't say to dead people that they haven't already seen. Okay? I mean, they're like, oh, yeah, I did that. Oops, that was mine. Yep. Oh. So, oh, yeah, they're finally accountable. Isn't that awesome? See, you can't run away from death. That's the thing. I mean, you don't want to awaken here. That's okay, because when you get there, and you see it, you're going to feel like, well, because now it's too late. You can't come back and say you're sorry. You can't come back and unhurt people.
Right.
So frankly, that is hell, don't you think?
I think so.
I mean, not being able to fix what you did, and honestly, to be honest with you, even the villain in the play has a role.
Yes, there's a reason for that person to be there.
Right. I mean, I asked this person before I even got here to treat me like shit. Okay. And then I went and picked them while they were here. Okay. Which, duh. Okay. And now I'm mad at who am I really mad at? Right?
Myself.
So some of those letters, when you get down to it, is also offering yourself forgiveness. Because, like I said, honey, I did a lot of things in my ignorance. Okay?
Yeah, me too.
And guess what? Lesson learned, and now I'm not as ignorant. So some of that grief stuff and forgiveness stuff is about forgiving ourselves as well.
Okay, well, thank you.
Well, and I'm sorry, who is this again?
My name is Denise. I'm a friend of Deanna Gaskin.
Oh, okay, Denise. Well, thank you for calling. Yeah, that was the abbreviated version.
Well, that's okay. You've opened my eyes to a couple of things. I know kind of where I need to go. It's just a matter of me taking that step forward with it.
Well, it's very vulnerable, and it feels like once you open that closet, you're never going to close it again. Okay?
Right.
But I'm telling you, once you let that emotion out, it is the most liberating thing. So I'm going to tell you a very funny story, people. Okay? So some of these folks have already heard this, Denise. So anyway, so one day I was having a knockdown drag out with God himself. I was at the end of my proverbial rope. And mind you, I'm spiritual. I'm a very spiritual person. But that day, I was like, DONE. I'm like, God, I am not working for you anymore. Okay? Because I don't believe anything today. And so if you really, really want me to keep working for you, you better show me a sign right now. I said this out loud, right now. And my doorbell started to ring.
Oh.
And I'm back there going, I'm on my back porch. I'm like, okay, who is interrupting my conversation with God? Like, right? So I come off that porch like a banshee. I come around the corner, and girl, there were 2 Jehovah's Witnesses standing there. I started laughing so hard because I thought, this is the funniest thing ever. I ask for a miracle, and God sends Jehovah's Witnesses. And so this poor old couple looks at me like I've lost my mind. And I come around the corner, and this man goes, oh, I was crying and laughing at the same time. And this man goes, ma'am, are you okay? I said, sir, I have to tell you that you are the answer to a prayer. He goes, and they don't hear that, okay? And he goes, really? I said, yes. He goes, well, what can we do? I said, well, you pray for me. And this is what he said, okay? This man and this woman took my hands, and the man goes, Lord, I don't know what this poor woman's going through. But renew her faith. Renew her faith. I asked for that. Okay? God looked around and went, holy shit, who can I get to go there right this minute? Oh, there's those two over there.
Oh my
Oh,
gosh. Oh my
anyway,
goodness.
so that's it. If you just do, God knows it's rough down here. Being human is not
Yeah.
easy. And so,
Yeah.
when you let that emotion out, then the higher truth comes in, and it's always amazing. Always amazing. So thank you, Denise, for calling.
No problem. I'll talk to Deanna later on.
So I thank this man, by the way, for going door to door with his faith. I go, thank you, because you made a difference for me today. And he's like, look at me like I'd lost my mind. It was awesome. Anyway. Oh, no, he probably went home and told all his friends, you're not going to believe what happened to me today. Oh, good Lord. All right. Well, you guys, you have a wonderful evening, and maybe I'll see you on Wednesday.
Okay, yeah, that sounds great.
Okay, sounds good. Take care, Denise.
Thank you, dear.
Bye-bye.
Okay.
Oh, that was fun. Oh, my God. You guys are so funny. Hey, Tina. I'm so glad you could join tonight, too. You're not working, huh? Oh, my God. Yeah. So I'm telling you guys, I could write a book on miracle situations that happen. I mean, it has been just an amazing journey. I can't tell you how many times, that in that ninth hour, angels appeared or miraculous things happened. And again, the universe knows it's hard down here. Nobody's expecting you to be perfect, okay? And that's an illusion on its own. So somewhere between our spiritual soul's purpose and our human journey is a balance. And when you look at the yin and yang, okay, the light and the dark, the duality, we're human and we're spirit. We're not here to be perfect. We're not here to be perfect humans. We're not here to be perfect spiritual people. We're here to experience this life in all its glory. We were taught suffering and we were taught misery, and that's something that we can unlearn as well. This life is not about suffering. We create suffering. And so whether we're creating it in our own lives or in our society or in our world, faith, hope, and love are the things that will heal this planet. Okay. But love is boundaries, and love is, putting to bed the things that are not of love. And we don't have time to, dick around with this thing anymore. Okay. There's a lot of people that are suffering because of a lot of the horrible things that are going on in this world. So anyway, I'll get off my soapbox now. But thank you guys. This has been so much fun. Mars retrograde was rough. Girl, there's 7 planets retrograde right now, including Mars. So don't get, it's getting, yeah, you're acting like there's one planet at a time. Okay, there's 7 simultaneously. This is a very difficult time. Well, Samantha Stevens, signs to look for when someone is trying to reach out to you. Well, a lot of times it's just the popping in your head. It's that telepathic, projection. So when they pop in your head, that's some way to let you know they're around. Sometimes lights flickering, although this one is supposed to do that. Okay, but sometimes the lights will flicker. Sometimes the lights will flicker and then they'll pop in your head. So they're going, it's me. Sometimes it's when you're doing dishes or something mundane that you'll get those visitations. Sometimes they make smells. We call them phantom smells. Like you might smell someone's perfume or cigarette smoke or something like that. So yeah, those are the kinds of things. And once in a while, we'll find a penny on the floor or a song on the radio. Those are all just little ways to let you know that they're not somewhere else. They're actually around. And they're loving us. Hi, Rachel. Chrisman. I'm struggling lately. Feel like when I came on Facebook and saw I am live for a reason. Aren't you glad I'm on this side of the road? Girl, there's going to be some haunted people when I get on the other side. You're so funny. Okay, Diana Clayson. My best friend lost both of her brothers. One in June. Aw. That's an interesting thing, Diana. People don't know what to do for people who are grieving. And so if you know the process, which is denial, anger, sadness, surrender, acceptance, most people are afraid to say the wrong thing. Okay. They're not looking for your advice. They're just looking for you to sit with their pain, which is a very helpless feeling. Okay. So just calling or sending them a little card or just calling and don't say anything. Say, how you feeling? How are you feeling? Is there anything I'm listening, and just let them talk. Just let them talk about whatever's on their mind. And it's not personal, so don't react. So even if they're just pissed, let them be pissed. They're not mad at you. They're just mad at the situation. And it's just an expression. And I think that's the challenge, is that you can't take it personally when people are in their process of grief, because they're just finding somebody to target with their stuff. Now, I'm not saying to let yourself be abused by people, but, don't take it personally either. If somebody's snarky and shitty, it's because they're feeling snarky and shitty. It's got nothing to do with you. And so, again, when you call them, just listen. A lot of times they just want to talk about their person, and we're afraid to bring up their person because it'll make them sad. Well, let them give you the signs of what they need, but I would definitely call. And if nothing else, just listen. They just want to know that somebody's there. And that's willing to listen to them process. They don't need your advice. And, just again, if you can't do that, make sure you have the energy to be able to stand in someone's grief with them. It's not always easy. And again, sometimes you can say, hey, maybe it's best if you maybe went to some counseling. It really depends on the death. Having multiple deaths simultaneously is so awful. And, or if maybe there's something I can do, if you want to get her, a gift certificate or something and sometimes you can just refer and say, hey, this person helped me, maybe they'll help you. And it gives people an opportunity to, reach out. A lot of times people will reach out to someone like me before a mental health professional, because I'm not clinical and I speak it in a different language, even though it's kind of the same language. And I do refer people to counseling. Okay, so I do work in tandem with mental health professionals and physicians and helping people, whether it's, recovery or, we always try to find them a holistic way to help them get through their experience on every level, not just spiritually. So I know a lot of people. So I do refer people to, counseling or, support groups or things like that. So if I can be of service in any way, let me know. Oh my gosh, you guys are so funny. Oh, Shannon, I'm telling you, that was one of the best dreams anybody ever told me about. Danielle, I had an interaction with another medium at a party last week. It was completely different than what I have experienced with you, so I was skeptical. She had a few hits, but quite a few misses. I want to take something from the experience, but I am finding it difficult. My mom may have come through, but... Well, it's interesting, Danielle. So, Becca and I always joke about this, is that I'm actually working my way out of a job, okay? Because I see my role as a medium and a spiritual teacher to give you guys the tools of understanding, to know that what I do is not a gift. It's actually a skill, okay? Now, my skill was developed in really amazing ways, and most people may never do the work I do, but we are all intuitive. We are all empathic. We all have this ability to be connected to that divinity, maybe not in the same way I do, but once you have these tools of spiritual understanding, I don't want people like you, dependent on people like me, for your answers. I want you to be able to tap into your own silence, your own inner knowing, and figure it out for yourself. Develop that relationship with that God of your understanding, so that you don't need someone like me telling you, is this the one for me? Or, the answers to your big life's questions. Okay, what we do today creates tomorrow. And so if we keep doing dumb shit over and over, we're going to keep getting dumb shit over and over. So it's really basically very simple. But yes, and again, that's why you really can't compare people in this work, because and a lot of times I don't really align with that New Age metaphysical community, because I'm a way more pragmatic spiritualist. And this isn't just about doing fluffy parties and events and, and doing fortune telling and things like that. So I'm really here to give you guys the tools because one day I won't be here. And like a parent, I want to make sure you have the tools to survive without me, and develop your own inner guidance and your own relationship with that divinity of your understanding. So, yeah, this isn't a gift; it's a skill. We all have it. It's just that most of us will never or have never developed it. But it just comes inherently too with this female body as well. So those are a lot of the classes that I teach. So I'm sorry. Yeah, if people want to be wowed, I'm not here to wow you. I'm here to deliver messages from the other side. Okay, so yeah, I'm a little different, Danielle, than a lot of people who do this work. So I don't, yeah, you can't compare us. It doesn't work that way. I wish it would, I wish it did. Yeah, but people want to be amazed. They're so busy wanting to be amazed, they're not listening to the message. I'm wondering, Caitlin Marie. I wonder if my uncle is still around. Well, first of all, what, see, that's a loaded question. Okay, so when you say, are they around? Okay, the other side is always around. It's just they're not always allowed to let you know they're around. Okay, so whether you know it or not, whether you're in the loop or not, you are being helped by your people. Like I said, we don't always like the help, or we don't recognize the signs. So I don't know if you've ever had an experience with me, Caitlin, but having a private session with me, I mean, there's a lot of people who are on my Facebook who have never actually had a one-on-one experience with me, and it's highly recommended. These fun little videos are nice, but having a one-on-one session with me is a whole nother thing. But again, I'm not that one who's going to be, just telling you what you want to hear either. It's not just about talking to dead people. That's not exactly what I do. It's about giving you these tools of understanding so that you know that we're always being divinely guided. Deborah, Dad was murdered. I prayed and prayed for his soul to have peace. Right. Well, souls don't suffer on the other side like you think. So once you leave the body, and it's a process, Deborah, I'm so glad that, he actually felt peace immediately. Okay. But it is definitely a grief process, just like it is over here on some level, except it's not as traumatic in the way that we experience sometimes those grief. But they have helpers and they have people helping them. So they are never at any point alone. But I'm so glad that that he came to you in that dream to confirm for you that he was peaceful. Yeah, they don't want us down here struggling because of them. I know, Tim. I don't want to think I'm not always right. Dead people are always right. That's so funny. Well, Sharon, here's my advice to you. If you always do what you've always done, you'll always get what you've always got. And if nothing changes, nothing changes. That has to do with your health problems. So we have to change, really make some significant changes in things that are going on for you health-wise. But sometimes our emotional health has a huge bearing on our physical health. Okay, so the body that gets neglected a lot is the spiritual and emotional body, which is what makes the physical body sick. So sometimes the things we hold inside and trap become disease in the body. So whether it's heart trouble or digestive trouble or back trouble, thyroid trouble, brain trouble, I mean, all of those things come from sometimes where we keep our emotional trauma. So maybe we could do some holistic work with you, Sharon, to help you with that. I'm so sorry that you've lost people, honey. But sometimes, like I said, our unresolved grief over our lifetime can cause a lot of health issues later that we can unravel if we're willing to get down in there and clean it out. So if I can help, let me know. I had back surgery while I was under. I had a very vivid dream of a man waiting on a bench with me. Oh, That's awesome. Kelly Roca, that is actually your guide, one of your guides. So guides are souls that we've had lifetimes with before, but not this one. They stay behind just to help us. And it's funny. So he was taking care of you while you weren't in your body. That is a beautiful thing that you were sitting on a bench with him. And a lot of times you're not going to see his face because, see, we want to see faces. And see, the other side doesn't have faces and bodies anymore, but they show us those things in dream time to bring us comfort. But the point is that he was just a guide. You weren't really supposed to know who he was. Just that you were being helped while your body was sedated and you were under anesthesia. And so, yes, I would think of him as a guide or protector. Yes, Lori. Yeah, sometimes when we're in this weird place of not being present, you will hear, like literally inside, hear that knowing. So one time I was with a client and we had gone to lunch. And now I have a 7-foot Iroquois friend who is my guide, one of my guides that helps me out. And so we were in a very bad neighborhood and I was dropping her off. And we were sitting in the car smoking cigarettes and hanging out talking. And she said, you should probably go. Because I was, yeah, not in a good area. Anyway, and it was the projects. And so we're sitting in the parking lot. And so she says, you should probably go. And I'm like, yeah, fine. Well, then all of a sudden, like 5 minutes later, my little voice, loud as could be, said, get out, like that. And I looked at her, I said, you got to go. So she got out of the car and I watched her go in and I pulled away. Well, she called me. She goes, where are you? It was 5 minutes later. I said, well, I'm almost to the highway. She goes, Marianne, there was just a shootout in that parking lot. Right? That's the power of our inner knowing. So that's why we don't want to listen to the delusional fear-based stuff, because when you hear that divine guidance, it is serious. It's about right this second. And so we've got this awful, critical human voice in our head that's constantly spouting fearful bullshit. And when you have faith, there's nothing to fear. And so it silences that anxiety. It silences those depressive thoughts because, we're working through it from the spiritual understanding. And so it makes it much clearer when you get those communications like that. Isn't that wonderful? I love when that happens. Mine happens more often than not. Heidi, anything coming through for me? No, not for tonight, Heidi, but if you want to give me a call, I don't think it's something we can really talk about. See, these are such quickie things on here. I can't really get into depth on things, but definitely give me a call, Heidi, and maybe book some time. And I'm not saying that to make money. I'm saying that because this is more than a 2-minute convo. It's not bad, by the way, but I feel like you're heading the wrong way. You guys are so funny. Hey, Jason. I know. Isn't this fun, my spooky setup? So much fun. I want to say something about dreams before I made a decision from my pup. Yeah, honey. Oh my gosh, that's wonderful. Debbie Delaney was talking about the puppy. Oh, I know. That's so sad. But you know what? That is wonderful that they gave you that knowing. The thing about dogs, which is interesting, is so animals don't really have souls. They actually aren't here to learn anything. They're here as companion to man while we're having our human experience. So they're showing us unconditional love, and they love you even when you're a jerk. When you're in a good mood, bad mood, animals are really here to comfort us and give us hope. Anyway, so the thing about dogs is dogs represent loyalty. So the thing about dogs is they don't know when to go. Okay, they are loyal to you. And so we as humans have to make executive decisions for them sometimes because they don't know when to leave you. And they don't take it personal when you have to put them to sleep. It's really a loving act, okay, to release them from their obligation to us. And so if any of you guys have seen the movie A Dog's Purpose, it is one of my favorite movies that shows you almost exactly how that works with animals. So animals are not here to learn. They are divine They are spirit, and they're here to help us through our sorry ass journey. And we need their help as messengers, and we need their help in unconditional love. And so that's why indigenous peoples revered animals. So, because they're another tribe just like humans, but actually more wise and more insightful than we are. So, anyway, I'm so sorry you had to make that decision, Debbie, but I'm glad your grandma and your mom helped you do that. So, all right, kids. Well, like I said, I've got some really fun things coming up. I'm going to wrap up with letting you know that I'm going to be doing seances virtually. So I'm going to publish all these public events. So we'll be doing it like this, but probably on Zoom or Facebook Messenger video as well. And you can have your own private party. So if you have 20 people or less, during the week I'll do smaller parties. But on weekends, I'm going to be doing mostly public events. If you want to add your party to the party I have, you just get all your people to pay, and they can all be in your living room, and I'll channel for everybody who's in the Zoom room at that time. So call me if you have any questions, which is 216-324-2657. Or visit my website under Halloween Seances page. All the dates will be there. So you can join in our an event, or you can take the whole event for yourself if you have more than 15 people to 20 people. So the cost is going to be $40 a person. It's really fun. Oh my gosh, it's so much fun. It's just like tonight, but more interactive because I can hear you and see you. And so we can actually interact with each other. So I'm so grateful that all you guys joined me tonight. So we're doing a promotional video Wednesday. And we've got some, it's going to be a lot of fun. I'm looking forward to doing that. But yeah, like I said, until this Sunday, sessions are still $60 an hour. And so I would highly recommend, if you can afford to buy stockpile on gift certificates. Now, it's going to take me a day or two to get them to you. I usually send the gift certificate back to you PDF so that you can forward those to people that you want to give them to, or keep them for yourself. And then they're all numbered. So you would call me and tell me the number, and then we'll book your session. So through this weekend, Sunday midnight, sessions are $60 an hour. As of Monday, they're going to be going up to $80 for an hour. And so we can do those via Zoom, I do them all. So Duo, Zoom, Facebook Messenger, we can do video, phone, whatever works for you. So until I get a location of my own. So again, I got to get back out here doing this on the regular so that we can get together and I can have a space and we can have a place to meet up. So yes, 7 planets are retrograde, Dottie Cooper, for a minute, and then one's going to go direct, but Mercury's going retrograde like tomorrow. So if you guys got anything to say, now is not the time. If you haven't already said it, keep it for the next 3 weeks. It's a very stressful time. I was going to ask if you were Mojo zapping the lamp. No, it's supposed to do that. Isn't that funny? Mojo zapping. That's funny. Yes, absolutely, Caitlin. That's what I'm doing is, so a lot of times when I'm talking to you via this, there is paranormal things going on in your house to confirm for you what I'm telling you. So you'll smell something, or you'll, the light will flicker, or the TV will turn off. I mean, that's the kind of stuff that they do. Or you'll hear a knock on the wall or a bang. Those are the things just to let you know that they're around. So anyway, all right, kids. Well, thank you so much for joining me tonight. And, keep the faith and know that, we all have an opportunity here to right the wrongs. And so, no, Jason, that's so funny. Jason asked me, when you heard the voice say, get out, was it frightening? No, but let me tell you, feet don't fail me now. I'm just very matter of fact. I'm very good in a crisis. I've had so many crises, and I've been in the middle of so many scary ass things that when my little voice says move, I don't ask why. I just do it. And yeah, no, it's just very calculated. No emotion. No, I'm not scared. I know that it's covered my ass, and so that's not the worst time that I've had that happen. I've had this happen a lot. I was in a bar one time when my little voice was like, get down, and somebody shot up the bar. and I was under the pool table. Yep, that happened. I know, Jason, I miss having it live groups, but I don't have a location that I have control over. If I had my own space, I could socially distance and do small groups in a space, but I can't do that right now. So we're going to have to do it like this. And it's a lot of fun, especially when we're interactive and you can see everybody's faces on the thing and we're all interacting with each other. It's so much more fun. Well, Donnie, I look forward to hearing from you too. So thank you all so much. Happy Halloween. So if you go to my website, I'm going to have all the dates for the public seances, okay? And so just sign up, and I'll have all the links are provided on the website of what you need to do that. And I'm still deciding if I'm going to do them on Zoom or if I'm going to do them on Facebook Messenger. But regardless, if you have your own private party, you need to call me, okay? If you want your own private event where there's no strangers in it, and you just want it from your group of friends, you need to call me right away to get on that. Or otherwise, they're all going to be public, and you'd have to fill up a group of 20. So thank you so much. I look forward to seeing you guys soon, and stay tuned for our new promotional stuff that's going to be coming out. And if you want to book a session, it's best to call me directly on my phone. My phone number is on my website. Don't send me a text. I get thousands of crazy text messages. And if you're really serious and want to book a session, you want to pick up the phone and actually call me. So that's the way to do it. That way we both have our calendars and we can pick the time. So I'm so grateful to all of you tonight. And I hope this brought you a little closer to some understanding. And whoever's setting off my 4-year-old's fart gun in the middle of the night, you're funny. Oh my God, it's your grandma, Stephanie. And I feel like it's Grandma Ruth, or you called her Grandma something. Anyway, she thinks that's hilarious. I am available on Halloween. I'll probably be doing All Hallows Eve. Yes, that's a big night. So I'll be putting out dates for all of that. Anyway, oh my God, Stephanie, I could write a book. I always say that if they make a movie out of my life, just make sure Pink plays me, because she's kind of badass and she's my fave. So anyway, all right, kids. Well, thank you so much for tonight, and keep the faith. And I look forward to seeing you even more on our Wednesday and Friday live events. And stay tuned. Thanks so much. Have a really amazing evening, guys.